to my video on percent proportion. So remember, a percent is a special ratio in which the denominator is 100. A percent proportion compares part of a quantity to the whole quantity, also called the base, using a percent. So the proportion that we use is called part over whole equals percent over 100. So we always put the percent over 100, and we always put part over whole. So use keywords to help you set up a percent proportion. The whole or the base represents the denominator. The part represents the numerator or the top number. And of course, the percent amount is always followed by the percent sign, or it just says percent. And of course, you always put the percent number over 100. So let's look at some word problems, and we need to figure out what the part, the whole, and the percent is. So let's take a look at number 1 here. Bob's team won 75% of their baseball games. So won 75%. They played 16 games in all. How many games did they win? Okay, I want to know how many they won. So is this question asking for part, whole, or percent? And of course, if they played 16 games in all and they won 75%, then that means the wins is the part. Okay? So we're going to set up our proportion, and we're going to put 75 over 100. We always put percent over 100. And since I want to know how many games they won, and the percentage is the part, we're going to put X over 16 because they played 16 games in all, so that is the whole. Now we're going to solve our proportion just like we have been in our previous lessons. So 100 times X is 100X. 75 times 16 is 1200 or 1200. And the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 100. And the answer, of course, is 12 games. And I always look back and go, okay, is that reasonable? 75% of the games, they won 12 out of 16. Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable. So I know my answer is more than likely correct. Okay, number 2, there are 33 people at a meeting. 40 people had been asked to attend. What percent of those asked attended the meeting? So is this question asking for part, whole, or percent? And it said what percent, so of course it's asking for the percent. So I'm going to put X over 100 because I don't know what the percent is. And I want to know what percent of those asked attended the meeting. So the people who actually attended the meeting here is the part, because that's going to represent the percentage. So we're going to put 33 on top. And there were 40 people asked to attend, so that would be the whole. Okay, now we're going to use our cross products or the butterfly method. So 40 times X is 40X. 33 times 100 is 3,300. And the opposite of multiplication is division, so we're going to divide both sides by 40. 40 divided by 40 is a 1 in disguise. And 3,300 divided by 40 is 82.5. And since I was looking for the percent, I have to put a percent sign. Otherwise, it would be wrong if I did not put the percent sign. Okay, so make sure when the question asks for what percent that we actually put a percent sign as our answer. Okay, and if you look at a 33 out of 40, most of the people who were asked to attend the meeting attended it. So it would make sense that my percentage would be close to 100%. So you could say my answer is reasonable, and so I'm probably correct. Okay, only 13 students were absent from school. This was 4% of the enrollment. What is the school's enrollment? So I want to know the school's enrollment, so that would be all of the students in the school. So that would represent the whole. So I now know that I am looking for the whole, and since it's part over whole, I'm going to put the X on the bottom. We're always going to put percent over 100, and that means the 13 represents the part. And you also know it's a part because right here, only 13 students were absent from school. This was 4%. So it's saying that this is 4%, so that percentage represents the part there. So now we're going to use our cross products. So 4 times X is 4X. 13 times 100 is 1300. And the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 4. And that gives us an answer of 325 students. Okay, and since 13 was only 4%, it would make sense that the school's enrollment is a lot more than 13. And if you notice, my answer is a lot more than 13. Okay, so my answer seems reasonable. Okay, let's look at the very last problem. Kylie tested 12 batteries and found that 2 were defective. What percent of the batteries were defective? So I'm looking for the percent. So we're going to put X over 100. And since it said what percent of the batteries were defective, that means the defective batteries is the part. So right here it says 2 were defective, so that's my part. And she tested 12 batteries, so that would be my whole. Okay, so let's use our cross products or the butterfly method. 12 times X is 12X. 2 times 100 is 200. And the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 12. And my answer is 16.6 repeating, and I need a percent. Okay, and when I look at my answers, I do not see that. But I do see 16 2/3%. So the way I would know that this is the correct answer would be to do 2 divided by 3 in my calculator. It would be 0.6 repeating. And so this would be 16.6 repeating percent. So that's how I could know. I also know because it starts with a 16. But I could have given you choices, another choice that also started with 16. So you would have to convert the fractions to a decimal to know which one matches. So that concludes my video on percent proportions. I hope you have a great day.